Welcome back to another video. So today I thought I'd make a video just on what I think the England team should be, purely because I just want to get my opinion out there. It's obviously not going to be listened to, it's going to be completely different to what Southgate's going to go for, no doubt, but everyone else is doing it, so I thought I might as well just hop on the bandwagon, to be perfectly honest. This has been very difficult, actually. I think that England has their best squad since, the days of Sven-Göran Eriksson and Steve McLaren, when we had Gerrard, Scholes, Lampard, etc. And they were very spectacularly bad days for England still, even with those players. So, Gareth Southgate's got a lot of making up to do for us England fans because we're starving, pretty much. So, personally for me, I'd go with a 4-3-3 just because I think that utilises the players that we've got better, but I don't think Southgate's going to go for that anyway. I might just say what I think Southgate's going to go for after I've said my lineup, but this is what I'd go for personally. Just starting off in goal, this is a very difficult one, and to be honest, I wouldn't blame Southgate for starting any goalkeepers that I'm going to pick in my squad, but I would actually go for Nick Pope, Burnley goalkeeper, and here's why. So statistically speaking, and on the eye as well, he's just a better shot stopper than Jordan Pickford. In my opinion, I thought that anyway, and then I went and looked at the stats, and they back up my point. So this season in the Premier League, Pope has a 75.5% save success rate, whereas Pickford only has a 70.7%, which, it is close. It is close. I'm not going to say that Pope's a much better keeper than Pickford in terms of saving ability. It is close, but I just think that he's a better shot stopper, and I think that is that's the prime ambition of a goalkeeper, isn't it? Really, they need to be good at saving. As well as that, Pope has 32 high claims and 11 punches. Pickford has 13 high claims and 21 punches. So to me, it just shows that Pope is a bit more commanding in the air, and when balls are being looped over the top by sides that perhaps aren't as good as other sides, playing the route one sort of way, I think Pope would be better than Pickford, because Pickford can be a little bit flimsy at times, I think, when he's being challenged. That being said, I do think that Southgate will start Pickford anyway, which I'm not going to begrudge massively because I get it. There's also a shout for Henderson as well, but I don't think he's been performing amazingly for Man United at the moment. And he's only played 12 games this season, which going into a tournament, you'd like them to play a little bit more. He played really well at Sheffield last season, but I still don't think he's played well enough to displace Pope or even Pickford, to be perfectly honest. Right back, I'm going to go with Trent Alexander-Arnold. I'm sorry, I just don't see how you can't start him, to be perfectly honest. I think he's England's best right back. You always see this argument that, he's good going forward, but he's bad defensively. First of all, he actually isn't bad defensively. He's come on a long way. I think people base that opinion based on a game he played against Crystal Palace where he got spun by Zaha, and a game where he played against United where he got spun by Rashford. But in actual fact, he's really improved defensively. And he's had to this season at Liverpool because, Van Dijk, Gomez, Matip all injured. He's up with Nat Phillips and Reece Williams. He has to be a bit more solid defensively, and I think that's actually developed him defensively. Also, my other argument for that is if your prime objective with a fullback is to have them defensive minded, I think you're kind of outdated. I think the new age of fullbacks is bombing forward, getting involved in the attack, maybe playing a bit inverted, maybe overlapping. But I think you need your fullback to be really good attacking, and Trent is our best attacking fullback. The numbers speak for themselves. Other people are saying Walker and Reece James. I don't think they're bad options if they were to start ahead of Trent. I couldn't begrudge Southgate. I don't think Trent will start again. It's looking like Trent might not even make the squad. But if that's the case, then blimey, that is the most horrendous decision the Southgate could make, because he's our best right back. You only have to look at his goals and assists. You only have to look at his tackles, his interceptions this season. You only have to look at his contributions to Liverpool. He is just ridiculous. But yeah, I don't think Southgate will pick him. In fact, I don't even think Southgate will do a back four. I think he'll do a back five, and he'll probably put Kieran Trippier right wing back or so. But no, I would go for Trent at right back. Centre backs, I would go for Harry Maguire and John Stones. I don't really think you can argue with that. They've both been brilliant this season. My only thing is Harry Maguire might be injured. He's still on crutches at the moment, and the Euros are a month away, and I really, really hope he's fit, because he's England's best centre-back in my opinion. I just think he is. He gets a lot of stick at Man United purely because he was bought for 80 million and it's Man United, so they're one of the most hated teams in the world. So he's always going to get a bit of stick, but I just think he's brilliant. And John Stones this season as well. I think John Stones has been really good. He's come a long way. Him up next to Ruben Diaz, it's just made him look 10 times better than he was originally. I think we have the two starting centre-backs. I think that'll be really good. That's one of the best starting centre-backs in the Euros, in my opinion. Left back, I'll go with Luke Shaw. He's one of Man United's players of the season. He's been absolutely insane. His pass accuracy, his shooting accuracy, his crossing, his assists. He's been absolutely brilliant at Man United. He's been a revelation, and he deserves it as well, because he's had a tough career. after breaking his leg and then being absolutely ridiculed at Man United by Jose Mourinho. You know, he deserves this. On to the midfield, I play a midfield 3. So right centre mid, I go with Jordan Henderson. This is a bit of a tenuous one as well because, I mean, he's been injured for the large part of the season, but I think there are some players that are just undroppable even if they are injured. Like Harry Maguire, for example. He's been injured, so he could easily sit out, but he's too important to our team. So I think that Jordan Henderson is in the same bracket as that. I also think at Liverpool, he's been sort of saving himself for England. He could have probably played the final few games from hearing what I'm hearing from, you know, various journalists, looking at the videos and stuff like that. But I think he's trying to deliberately save himself for the Euros because I think he can make it if he just steps up his rehabilitation. And also, if you play him right centre mid, I mean, he has that chemistry with Trent. I mean, if you watch them at Liverpool, Trent goes forward, Henderson just sits in really well. They know each other. They've played hundreds of games together. They're integral to our team, in my opinion. At the number 6 role, I'd have Declan Rice. I think he's a brilliant number 6. His pass accuracy is really good as well. He's really good on the ball. He can drive forward. He can also have a shot here and there as well. Him with Maguire and Stones just behind him, I think that'll be really good. That'll be really hard to break down. Now this is where it gets debatable, and I can totally agree if you disagree with me on this one. I can see why you would disagree, because, well, we've got so many players in these positions that I just think we're spoiled for choice, really. And if Southgate was to go and choose another player that could potentially play here instead of what I've chosen, I'm not going to begrudge him for it, because, you know, we are just stacked. So on the left-hand side of the midfield, I'd actually go with Jack Grealish. Now this is an interesting one. So if you look at his heat map on SofaScore, you can actually see that he plays predominantly on the left-hand side. He plays sort of an attacking midfield role, and he also plays on the left wing. But I think, you know, he's really, really good at finding pockets of space, running at people, dribbling at people. You know, he's really good at chipping the ball over, getting loads of assists. And I think if we had him in that position, we have Henderson and Rice sitting, or he's galloping forward. You know, I think it's going to be difficult for anyone to stop him, especially when you see who we've got up front. Now, I can see why Gareth Southgate might not start him. I mean, he didn't seem to fancy him that much anyway, even when he was fit. But he has been injured for the large part of the season. But he is coming back now, and I think he's too good. I think he's too good to not put in the squad. In terms of players that really excite you, in terms of players that, you know, really get you off your seat, Grealish is the one for me. I think he's definitely top 10 players in the Premier League for me. Everyone was calling top 5 earlier on in the season. I don't think he's quite there yet, but, you know, for how young he is, and, you know, what he's been through with Villa, you know, Championship back up to the Premier League, I think he's earned this. Now for the forward line, again, there's going to be debate in this one. There's going to be debate on the 2 wings. There's no debate for the striker, but this is what I think. So left wing, I'd go with Phil Foden. I think he's a generational talent, and people are starting to put him in the bracket of Mbappe and Haaland, which, you know, it's a bit debatable. I don't think he's quite in that bracket, but I think he's absolutely exceptional. He is probably our best young player. You only have to look at what he's done under Pep this season. You know, his numbers, considering he's only started limited games because Man City are so stacked in terms of depth, his numbers speak for themselves. He's got 8 goals and 5 assists and I think only 15 or 16 starts, which is really good. If you go and look at his heat map as well, you can see that he played predominantly on that left-hand side. And when I was watching him against PSG, his link-up play with Kevin De Bruyne was absolutely amazing on that left-hand side. He plays inch-perfect passes. He knows when to make the run. He knows when to stop. He knows when to go. I think he's one of our best players. Striker Harry Kane, pretty easy. 22 goals, 13 assists this season. Looking like he might leave Tottenham actually, but you know, for England, he's got to show up. He just has to. He is the best striker in the world. If you take Lewandowski out of the equation, he is easily the best striker in the world at the moment. Lewandowski is amazing as well, and there's plenty of debate between those two. But to even be put on the same bracket as Lewandowski just shows how good he is. And right wing, I'd go with Jadon Sancho on this one. I think he's had a better season than Sterling as well. A lot of people seem to be sleeping on him. I don't really know why. I think he's been really good at Dortmund from what I've seen of them this season. So there it is. There's the squad in all its glory. An amazing team in my opinion. I do think that this team needs to be challenging for the Euros, especially when you consider the depth behind it. Players like Mount and Rashford. I do think that anything other than the semi-finals should be considered a failure for England. I also just think that we should play some enjoyable football and, you know, get the nation united, because it's been a tough year for everyone. It's been very tough watching football as well, with no fans and COVID and everything like that. So yeah, let's hope this team does the business. Thanks very much for watching. See ya.